Yo, yo, Phil Black, Creative Drive. Man, these Charger wars be real. I was just 2 minutes. The car at the Charger got there 2 minutes before me at the free Charger. Man, people be circling these Chargers like vultures, but that just ain't enough of them. Man, I had a good ass day yesterday. Today was a good ass day too. Now I realized, man, I was gonna go to Hawaii with my brother and his wife, and me and Nashi was gonna go. But then I thought about what it would take for me to go, and what it would take for me to go is we was gonna go for a while, for a little bit of time, like a month or two, in the summertime. Like, was it possible? Yeah, but I thought about it, right? It's like, okay, if I do this, all the things that I do, like on a daily, weekly basis that, bring me joy, or give me some downtime, or allow me to relax, kick it with my peoples, just, hang with Nashi, go to movies. I just knew that I would have to cut everything out. Even with the album, even with the album, there's no chance I'll be able to do both at the same time. I would not have been able to write as many songs as I've written. I get a lot of ideas and shit sketched out while I'm driving throughout the day, true. But at the same time, a lot of what I write is driven by life experience and not actually like, okay, I'm going through something today and that necessarily means, I go to a nice, get a good cup of coffee, or, I meet up with some friends at a fucking a brewery or a bottle shop and have a good ass stout or porter. I don't necessarily mean that's gonna be what my song's about. But it's like, it's an escape from necessity that enables me to stay creative, to where creativity in itself is an escape, but like these things drive, and so yeah, so yesterday I had me and my boy smoked a cigar. He had smoked a cigar for the first time after we had went camping. So we dropped the boys off at the arcade. Then we hit the cigar lounge by the crib, and that's when I seen my boy I went to college with that, we studied music together. So then, I hit him up yesterday on touchdown in the Ville. He was like, yo, you wanna go smoke a cigar? I'm like, bet. So we go. Then later on, I link up with Gibbs. We link up, have a beer, and then we're gonna listen to the music. All the songs I recorded so far. So we go to the cigar lounge, grab some cigars. He ain't never smoked a cigar. So they had gave him the Drew Estate Java. And he was smoking that shit. He was like, man, I see why people, smoke cigars. And so basically I had a day to where like I just kind of was in slow motion. Then over the weekend, Tone came through. We recorded all weekend. I ain't work at all. Maybe like 2 hours on Saturday. That's when Nashi was at Mandarin class. So, but outside of that, the whole weekend was dedicated to just recording. Nick and Sky came through, so Nashi was kicking it. And that's pretty much what what the weekend ended up being. And I would have had to work all of them days. mean? All of the things that I've been doing, there's be certain things that happen that spark thoughts. You know what I mean? The actual activity might not make it into the music, but the conversations and the interactions and the clarity and the realizations, you know what I mean? And it's like, they say pick your poison, choose your bliss, you know what I mean? So it's like, now, did I want to go to Hawaii? Yeah. But at this point in my life, the things that I'm working on, things that I'm building, wasn't feasible for the lifestyle that I have. Because I look at it like this, right? Operating within a budget, whatever the budget may be, right, is one thing. But then when you gotta go above and beyond to make something happen, you know, it's like, it's not as fun then. Now it's like, damn, I had to bust my ass for this many months and go on a vacation for this many weeks. You know what I mean? To where, now if I'm investing that shit into something like, now travel's an investment, don't get me wrong, but not at the expense of, you know, sacrificing all the days and hours of your life in order to go on a trip, to where you could just utilize that time to figure out other ways to, you know, generate more income, you know what I mean? At the same time, there's a living life, man. Cause we take that shit for granted too much, man. Everything is all about hustle, hustle, hustle. Grind, grind, grind. That's everything. But it's not. It's not everything. How many people, all they did was hustle, 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 grind. Got 1,000 side hustles. Got a fucking lawnmower business. Do fucking taxes. Goddamn, drive Uber. Motherfucking cater on the weekends. Fucking referee. Damn, nigga, what the fuck? All right, so you got a bunch of cars in the yard. All right, cool. I ain't knocking because I like nice shit. I like it a lot. I started thinking about, like, at certain, living within the budget and not like killing yourself for extras. You know what I mean? Because life can be a fucking vacation where you at. Because a lot of shit's only vacation because of the information, man. Like, think about it. Before people lived at the beach, they lived at the beach. They just lived there. It wasn't like they was on vacation. They just lived at the beach. Right? Got tired of getting sand in their fucking ass crack. You know what I'm saying? People like that lived in the mountains. They lived in the mountains. They're like looking down like, God damn, I gotta go down there and get some water today. It wasn't like, oh, then, so now it's like you got people living their whole life that live at the beach, but they dreams of living in the mountains. They just working away, working away, working away. So one day, be able to move to the mountains. So they sacrificing all of now to one day go move to the mountains. To where back in the day, it's a possibility that if you lived at the beach, you would never see a mountain. Like, you lived at the beach in Florida back in the day, 200, 300 years ago, you would never see a mountain in your life. You would never go that far. Even go further back than 1,000 years ago. If you lived in the mountains and you was in a central location, like let's say goddamn Colorado, you would never see a beach in your life. You know? So it's like information becomes poison. You know what I mean? Information can become a hindrance. You know what I mean? And I'm all for expansion. I'm all for expansion, entrepreneurship. I'm all for like getting the most out of whatever it is you putting time and effort into. But at the same time, man, it's like, go back to the fika, man. Just to the simple things of like the value of just social interaction. The value of just hanging out with your kids. The value of just fucking having a meal, going to a cool spot you never been to, going to see a movie at the theater. The value of taking a walk. The value. There's other values outside of money, man. And I say that as a capitalist. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I say that as someone who, you know what I mean? One of my first aliases was Phil Black Billions. You know what I mean? So, like, this ain't me on no communist shit. It's me on some, like, the balance of life. Just like shit. If a nigga, if all you do is hang out all day and you don't do no work, that ain't good either. It's a balance, man. Work is necessary. Work is a function. Work is there's no survival without it. Necessary for sure. But there's nothing that you should be doing all the time. Only that one thing. Like, even me, if all I did every day, all day was right, I wouldn't make it as far. I'm not saying don't do your thing every day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, it can't be the only thing you do. Like, you neglected everything else in life. You know what I mean? You ain't taking no time out. Holidays, you know what I'm saying? Special occasions, like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, you missing, like, weddings of close friends, and you know what I mean? To where it's like, man, nah. Because I see people in my life that's real life busy as fuck on some real life busy shit, to where it's like, nah, like, pretending to be busy, like, fucking busy. And those people take the time to do other things and to spend time with their loved ones and shit. So it's like, you can't say that, like, because when it's beyond the wants, beyond the needs and some of the wants, now, if you got your back to on your certain situation, you got to grind out for a little minute, a year or 2 months, whatever, that's understandable. You got to go, okay, you trying to put a down payment on the house, something like that. But then it's like, you got to carve out time for other shit. Ain't no way around it. You have to. Man, been so many times to where I feel like certain shit that happened, I'd be like, man, if I do this, I'm gonna miss out on money. I gotta grind. Like a Miami trip. Back in the day, Ramal Bennett's like, yo, let's go to Miami. We'll spring break. I was down. I was like 20 something, maybe like 22, maybe 21. And I was like, I'm down. They said it months in advance. So by the time it came up, time to, you know what I mean, make reservations, buy shit, book shit, I didn't do it. It wasn't a situation like Hawaii to where I would have to do extensive grinding and cut everything out. I had the bread, though. I didn't have really no responsibilities at that point. I was living at my parents' house at that time. And I was grinding. I was selling weed. I was making a lot of fucking money for my age at that time. Decent money. Had a bunch of hustles, selling jerseys, weed, all type of shit. So, like, I could have won. But I sacrificed it because I was on my fucking grind. And to this day, I've never been to Miami. Never been to Miami. And it was already set up. Mall already put everything together. All I had to do was give them the fucking money. And I'd have been in Miami. I had a Miami story. But I want to have this story, though. So, you know, I just feel like it's trying to catch up and catch shit in real time as it's happening, to learn from the mistakes and situations and trigger points and warning signs, to where you honed in and you seeing shit happen in real fucking time. But yeah, I'm out though. Peace.